Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Manchester United podcast. We're in season 2, in the summer break at the moment, looking forward to the season ahead. Well, as much as we can, I suppose. And my name's Niall Hannigan, your host for this evening and for this episode. And I'm delighted to be joined by Tom Cairns. Tom, welcome back. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Although for those that watched the podcast of last night with me, Dan and Cormac, this is my second episode. But either way, gearing up for the new season, although not feeling as optimistic as I'd like to be, but still got a bit of a long way to go. Well, I say a bit of a long way to go. We've still got a long way to go to sort out what we need to get rid and who we need to bring in. But it feels like the biggest hurdle we're facing at the moment is bringing those in. We've only made one major signing in Mateus Cunha. I know there's Diego Leon, who is signed from some Paraguayan side somewhere for 7 million quid.
Mm-hmm.
But Mateus Cunha is the major one that's got in. We don't seem to be travelling at full speed to get who we need to bring in. It feels like Victor Gyökeres is on his way to Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
And Mbwemo is up in the air at the moment. There has been a new bid being put out today of 65 million plus 5 million in add-ons. Do I think Brentford will take it? I think if they're putting at 70 million, I think you would think they would take it, wouldn't you?
You'd think so. And it's interesting with that number. I saw David Ornstein put it out. There's a few others as well. 65 plus add-ons, like you mentioned. You look at the numbers that these players are going for at the moment, Alanga and Kudus, and you're like, of course they're going to hang around for a few more because, the output that Mbwemo had last year was higher than those guys, and they all went for 55 million. The money is just absolutely crazy. They mentioned at the start that they basically were tying it off whatever we paid for Cunha and felt that he was kind of at the same level. So 62.5 million odd for Cunha. It's going to have to be above that, and now it's creeping closer to 70. But it just fills me with dread, Tom. I don't know about yourself, but it's very United that everything just drags on when it comes to these signings, especially over the last 10 years or so. It's just been really poor in the transfer market, and it's ringing a lot of the Sancho situation a couple of years ago when it just dragged out for the whole summer, and then we eventually got it over the line, and that one didn't turn out so good, I suppose. But Mbwemo, if it did get over the line, would you be happy with that?
I would. Although some people say, well, if Brentford keep asking for more and more money, then just pull out of it and go for someone else. But it feels to me like United are too committed in getting Mbwemo in after all this time. So I think we've probably paid more than what we should be paying for him. I don't think it should have been more than 50 mil, in my honest opinion. But it is what it is. Brentford know who they're selling the player to, potentially. United need to bring Mbwemo in. I mean, he's essentially another attacking midfielder, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Mbwemo. So you probably think he would play alongside Bruno, with Cunha sort of pushing up sometimes as like the striker, if he could play there. Although I think Xerxes is more of a designated striker than a cam. It just helps give United more options in that particular part of the pitch, and goals are what we're missing last season. People can criticise Andre Onana all they want, but that's not the number one issue. The number one issue is to sort out the attacking line involving the number 9, because we don't have a number 9 that's going to be consistent enough. I would prefer Xerxes over Højlund on the back of what we saw last season, but we've got to bring in someone who we absolutely know is going to be scoring week in, week out.
Definitely, and there's not many of them on the market. I think every club is looking for that. Arsenal, I suppose that's kind of the one missing link that they're looking for. Their back four, their midfield's excellent, and they're just looking for that number 9. And like you mentioned at the top of the show, with Gyökeres, looks like it's going to get over the line there. But from a United perspective, I think you hit the nail on the head. It gives us so many more options going forward. If the Mbwemo deal gets over the line, you have Cunha and Mbwemo probably in the number 10s, and Bruno playing a bit deeper potentially. If you want to rest one of them, you can put Bruno in the number 10s. It provides a lot of competition as well for Ahmad on the right-hand side. He hasn't really had any competition last season and was one of our best players. So it's just good to kind of better the whole squad in general. So it is going to be interesting to see if it's over the line, but yeah, it is a steep price, and they exactly know who they're selling to, and it will probably end up going to the 70 million. It feels way too much for a player like that, but that is normally what happens to us when we end up in the transfer market. I just kind of thinking back, Tom. The last time we spoke was the aftermath of the Europa League final. I mean, that was pretty depressing podcast. Like, that was about 55 minutes to an hour of just it was tough going, trying to analyze the game, trying to collect our thoughts. It's been a month or so, probably a bit more since then. Probably, almost 2 months. I mean, are you underwhelmed by what's happened in the summer with United? Because I definitely am.
I would have to feel that way. I mean, a month ago, I felt a little bit more optimistic because I thought we were going to get Mbwemo done before the end of the month and potentially Gyökeres. But it feels like we've pulled out of Gyökeres and we're only just getting Mbwemo over the line before pre-season begins this weekend, actually, because we're travelling over to Stockholm for our first pre-season game. I just want all the business to be done before the season starts. I hate it when we keep going into a season having not done anywhere near enough. And what has annoyed me even more as well, Niall, is we haven't been able to get any club to accept an offer to sell, the likes of Rashford, Antony, Garnacho, Sancho, and Malacia. Yeah. 5 players of which have all been wanting to move on since last month. And there's just no clubs out there to basically, for United to say, look, we want X amount of money. Can you please accept it? Because we want to get them off our wage bill.
And honestly, that is scarily enough, considering how bad it is us bringing players in. That is probably a bigger issue, is getting rid of players. And the clubs are smart. I mean, they know how frayed those relationships are with those players that you mentioned that are at United. They know that they want to leave. They know United want to get rid of them. And you can just see they're just waiting and waiting for the price to drop and drop and drop, and it get closer to the season, and then kind of swoop in towards the start of the season where the price is at its absolute rock bottom, where they can just get them at such a discounted rate. It's very frustrating, especially when you see other players kind of selling their players, or other teams selling their players for such high prices. And yes, those group of players haven't been at their best at United, but they're still quality players compared to some of the players that are going for 40, 50 million at the moment. So it is frustrating when you see that could be income for the club, particularly on the PSR side of things with the academy graduates and getting that pure profit. But yeah, it's a pretty bad indictment on the club itself in terms of its transfer policy this year, both in and out.
I mean, the problems lie within the football club internally. You have to begin with the owners who have basically allowed the whole fiasco to take place, and now they've invested more in this new stadium that's been put together. What was it, £2 billion they've invested in a new stadium, or about to invest in a new stadium? I mean, explain that to me, because where on earth are they getting this money from? Because the government aren't paying for it, are they?
No.
It's just mind-boggling where the priorities are at. So that tells you about where the Glazers are going with it and what it is they want, rather than what it is the fans want. It's no wonder the fans are so against what the Glazers have been up to. In terms of what Sir Jim Ratcliffe has had to put up with, I don't necessarily like everything that he's done so far, but there is a part of me that says that he is at least trying to make things happen. But it's just making do with what we've got right now.
It's very difficult to know as well who's actually calling the shots when it comes to this stuff. The interview that Sir Jim Ratcliffe did a good few months ago now with Gary Neville was just like, it was difficult to know where he was coming from, really, and where he was laying the blame, saying that the club was in so much debt and they kind of came in and saved it. But then we have all these players, and he was naming them by name of, it doesn't matter if we sell them, we still have to pay for their wages. Basically, over the next few years, we have to pay back the clubs over the next few years because we haven't paid off all the transfer fees. It just kind of painted a bit of a bleak picture. But he wasn't kind of laying the blame on the Glazers because he can't call them out publicly. But you still don't really know who's actually making the big calls behind the scenes. Is Barada? Is Sir Jim Radcliffe? It's just hard to know, really, and you can kind of just throw a blanket over all of them and just say that it hasn't been good enough. And it's clear when you compare it to the other teams in the league that just seem to be getting their business done so much more efficiently, and in the areas that they really, really needed as well.
I don't know, Niall. I just, as much as I respect Sir Jim Ratcliffe's points, you can't, as rightly say, you can't call out the Glazers because you have a contract that tells you that you can't call them out publicly by any means. But the bigger picture is that the fans are not happy. They've been really unhappy with how the club has been run for the last, well, let's be honest, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
The leverage we had was when Sir Alex was there. And the moment Sir Alex left, we knew what was coming. And I never expected us to be as low as we ended up last season.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. We came out of that Europa League final quite down in the dumps, I would say, and it hasn't really filled me with confidence over the last few months now. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one to try and crawl up the league table, I think. But anyway, we'll take a quick break there. We'll be back to discuss maybe a bit more the signing that we did make this summer.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now. Your body is unique.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Mateus Cunha, 62.5 million, paying 150k a week. What are we thinking, Tom?
I'm excited for him. 5-year deal as well for Mateus Cunha. Looking at his form in terms of how he got on last season for Wolves. I'm just trying to get his stats up at the moment, just as we speak. So just bear with me one moment. But I do like him. He's a good player. I like his willingness to be involved. He kind of brings that Bruno vibe into the team, where he really cares about what the club wants to be achieving, despite the difficulties they've had to face. And we need those kind of backbones in the team. It's something I've been lacking for some time. Last season, he got, in all comps, he got 17 goals in 36 appearances. The season before, 14 goals in 36 appearances. He had an initial loan at Wolves, whilst being on loan from Atletico Madrid, where he was all right, but he never really adapted to life there in the same ways he has done in the Premier League. And he also had spells at Hertha Berlin and RB Leipzig and the Swiss side Sion, where he scored 10 goals in 32 appearances for them in his first season as a professional player. I do like him. He's not like he's not a Gyökeres, but he is a player that can do things in front of goal. And I think the Premier League is somehow being able to fit around how the Premier League works in regards to the pace of the game, the style of the game, and how he's basically integrated to it. I can potentially see that at Manchester United because he's not a one-season wonder. I mean, if you look at the previous 2 seasons he's had with Wolves, in a really poor Wolves team,
yeah,
he's actually been brilliant.
Definitely. Like, I'm very excited about this signing, to be honest. I don't think I was getting too excited about signings last year. I'll hold my hand up. If I go back and listen to the episode, it probably was. But I think he adds something completely different to what we have. Like, we don't have anyone really who can carry the ball at any way efficiently. I mean, Garnacho carries the ball, but normally carries it out of play. So Cunha is just like this incredible ball carrier, kind of sneakishly fast as well. Quite a big frame, and then scores from outside the box. Bit of a maverick player as well, which I think is really kind of old school United style, which I really like as well. Not much of a system player, which is concerning with our manager, but I do like the way he plays, where he does play off the cuff, and he does try things as well. And I think that's what we've been missing as well. We're a bit too stale going up front. We just kind of give the ball to Bruno and hope for the best. And I think the two of them on the same pitch would be playing on the same wavelength. I think would be really, really exciting. And I also think, going back to the system, with the two number 10 positions that we have, he's perfect for that one on the left. So I'm happy that we've actually bought a player that will fit the system, but will also kind of bring his own edge to it as well, and has that bit of character about him. We know that he's gotten into trouble a couple of times, a couple of scraps over the last couple of years. So you need a bit of bite as well, especially when you're coming to United and we're so poor. So I am looking forward to it, to see what he can bring, and it's very positive to hear the stats that he's had over the last couple of years, considering that he's not a one season wonder, and he is playing in a poor Wolves team, like you mentioned.
And we need that in a player. You start from the bottom and you make your way up to the top. And I think, whilst I don't think we'll win a league under him, he is someone who's going to play a huge integral part in getting this club back into the Champions League, I think. But it may not be this season coming up because of the competition we face and the signings that other teams are going to be making. I would say, if we get a good 15 goals from him with like another 10 to 15 assists, would you take that right now from Cunha alone?
I think that would be an incredible season. Yeah. Considering, like you mentioned, where we're coming from, like this team is really poor, like really, really poor, especially going forward. Doesn't really know what it's about. Didn't really adapt to the system at all last year when Amarim came in. I think 15 goals playing in a left number 10 position would be incredible. I would 100% take that. 15 goals, 10 assists. I was wondering who he's going to set up for those assists. I wonder who's actually going to score the other goals for him to get 10 assists. But absolutely. Do you think it's doable? Because I do really like him, but there's a lot more that comes to, players getting stats than just the player being excellent. And the team doesn't fill me with confidence at the moment.
It doesn't. But I think when you watch them on the pitch, it's just finding those gaps to fill in and getting on the end of the balls coming in. I mean, we were really poor with set pieces last season, and that was something we needed to rectify. I can't remember how long it took for us to score from a set piece. I don't know if it was last season or the season before, but it was a long time before we actually scored from a set piece. That's something that needs fixing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just hope we could get more signings, because this one is exciting. I mean, you mentioned the left back, Diego Leon. He was signed back in January, wasn't he? And then now he's just kind of joined up with the team at the end of the season. I've heard a couple of spicy quotes from him as well, talking about how it'll take him just a couple of months and then he'll mark down his place in the team. He's not just coming here to train, which I like all this. It's better than him saying, "Oh, I'm just so happy to be part of the club." We need someone that has a bit of bite about them, I suppose. And that left hand side of United is really up in the air. I mean, I'm sure you've seen all the propaganda or all the photos of all the players apparently looking a lot more lean this year, which is probably the bare minimum you'd expect from a professional team. But it is a World Cup year, and everyone's saying Luke Shaw is going to pop off again this year. So Do you think he could try and compete for that left-hand side with Dorgu and with Shaw and with any of the other players, Martinez that's coming back into contention?
He could do. I mean, this is make or break for Luke Shaw now. I mean, I don't know how he got into the Euros. Did he? I think he went to the Euros last summer, didn't he? Somehow.
He started the final.
He started the final, yeah. Strangely.
Yeah.
He's got to get off his backside now, Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
As you pointed out in the post Europa League final podcast, he's a shell of a player. He's a player that is disintegrating, and there's got to be some motivation generated back into the man. Whether Ruben Amorim's the one to do it or someone else, Luke Shaw's got to apply himself. He's got competition now in that left wing back role with Dorgu, Diego Leon, Martinez possibly, and himself. That's a good number of options because we struggle for a left wing back. As much as Luke Shaw was away injured or unfit, Diogo Dalot had to play in that left wing back role, and he was terrible. He was not very good at all.
Dalot's got a new number this year.
Yeah, he has.
Which is concerning.
Yeah.
He's now what was he, 20 before? Now he's 2, is it? He's dropped the 0. Per Victor Lindelof's off out of the club. So Dalot stepped up to the number 2, which is concerning considering he probably now will be the starting right wing back or right-sided centre back. Hopefully, I don't know for the next season, but hopefully we can get some competition there. We'll take another quick break here, and I'll be back with a bit of an insight into who you want, or not even who we want, where we need to strengthen over the next couple of weeks in the transfer market.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
I mean, Tom, I think after that Europa League final podcast, we probably got rid of 80% of the squad. Some of that might have been an initial reaction to the game, but in the cold light of day, you're probably still wanting to get rid of a decent chunk of those players and to kind of move them on and shift them on to different clubs. Look, we know we don't have a lot of time left in the transfer window. We spent a lot of time on this Mbwemo deal, whether it comes through, whether it comes not. A few weeks left. You have one signing that needs to be done in a certain area. Where are you like, we 100% need someone here?
Well, we definitely need a number 9, don't we? I think it's safe to say. Get that done first before you look at anywhere else on the pitch. It's just where are we going to find a number 9 that's going to fit into where? Yeah, we're going to need a little bit of a think about who we could possibly bring in. I mean, Osimhen is out of the window, isn't he? Because
do you like that signing if that happened? I'm not convinced about him.
Osimhen.
Osimhen, yeah.
I think he earns the right to have a chance in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I just don't know if United's the place to do it at.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, is it worth a gamble? If he was free right now, if he was a free agent, would you take him?
Oh yeah, if he was a free agent, yeah. But the issue is I think we'd have to fork out 60, 70 for him, even 50, 60, 70, which I think is a lot. But I think I'm in the minority here around Osimhen. But it's funny, you're like, oh, we need to have a think about who we're going to bring in. Don't worry, we're not alone. All the football clubs are trying to figure out what number 9s are actually on the market that there's not a plethora of them. It's difficult to kind of pinpoint a couple. Haaland was the obvious choice a few years ago where you couldn't really think of any other number 9s. At the moment, I mean, it's just Isak, really. I think the rest of them are unproven in terms of how good they actually are going to be. I think, looking at our defence, it's not that I'm very happy with it, but I'm content with it. I would love for us to get a really, really good central midfielder. I think an area we struggled last year with the new system was playing with 2 in midfield when pretty much every other team plays with 3. And I think we need someone extremely athletic who can basically do the running for 2 people, but also can play football. And that is a very niche person as well. But I think the midfielder that we brought in Ugarte isn't really fulfilling that role. And if Bruno is going to play in a deeper position, then we definitely need a really, really strong centre midfielder to do a lot of that running for him and a lot more physicality and a lot of the defensive work. And that is an area that I'd love for us to strengthen. Because I think that's going to be an area that we're just going to get blown out of the water when it comes to next season. I don't know what your thoughts are on our midfield options.
I mean, we've got, what is it, Casemiro in CDM.
We've got Ugarte, we've got Mount, we've got Bruno.
Yeah,
we've got Menu.
We've got Menu, yeah. I mean, going back to what I was saying about the number 9, I'm looking at the best number 9s out there. You've got Lautaro Martinez at Inter, who he'll be 28 next month, and apparently his value is at 95 million euros.
No way. Is it actually? That's ridiculous. I don't really rate him either, to be honest. That's crazy. He's a 9, but he also, like, he could play off the striker and play probably wide as well if needed. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you're going to Lautaro Martinez, like, there aren't really that many options out there. Benjamin Sesko, what would you think about that one? He's very young, a lot of potential, but unproven as well.
I do like Sesko. Just looking at his stats as we speak, because he's been over at Leipzig for some time now. He's been there for a couple of years because he joined from Red Bull Salzburg. How many goals has he scored now in all comps since his arrival from them? 39 goals in 87 appearances, which for a team like Leipzig isn't too bad. I'm just not sure that his way of playing would integrate well in the Premier League, because we've seen a lot of strikers from Bundesliga come into the Premier League and flop. Arsenal did think about going to sign him, didn't they? Before Gyökeres. Yeah. I would say that if it's anything more than 50 million quid, don't bother.
Oh, it'll be more. It'll be way more. Yeah. This is the issue. Alanga went for 55. Like, the market is just insane at the moment when it comes to these players. But yeah, I think obviously the number 9 is an area that we need to look at. But yeah, I think there's a hole there in midfield that I'm not looking forward to when it comes to next season. Even like you look at Arsenal and what the moves that they've made, like they got Norgard for how much? 18, 19 million, like less than 20 million. Like that would have been just such a smart signing. Like, you know, a really, really solid Premier League midfielder who's a good footballer and runs a lot. Like, you know, and was a captain at his side as well. You know, signings like that, I think we could be making to kind of bolster the midfield a bit, because I do see it as a bit of a hole. But there's plenty of gaps in that team, and there's plenty of players that we need to move on. Out of the players that we mentioned, Sancho, Garnacho, it's like the Fantastic Four, Rashford, and who's the fourth one?
Anthony.
Sancho, Anthony. Oh, Anthony, yeah. Which one would you give the last chance to? Like, okay, we can't get rid of all of them. We're going to give you one last chance, and if we can get them back on side again.
Rashford is a no for me.
Okay.
Garnacho, I said on the podcast that I would keep him.
Oh, Garnacho's a no for me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it feels like his attentions are set elsewhere after that social media post about with him in an Aston Villa shirt.
Exactly, the Villa
that
shirt.
really annoyed me so much.
Yeah. It just sums him up, really.
So he's out of it for me. So do you go with Anthony or do you go with Sancho?
Oh, what a choice. Yeah, spoiled for choice there. That like it's pick your poison. Like it's tough going. I mean, Sancho was never going to be signed by Chelsea. Like I don't know, he was not good for Chelsea at all. He hasn't shaken a leg in years in terms of trying to get any sort of output. Anthony, God love him. I think he should stay in Spain. Like I think he just seems to be enjoying life a bit better under the radar. Gets the odd appearance. But did you watch the Conference League final against Chelsea?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, he like Cucurella was just playing with him, toying with him. Like he was just pushing him off the ball. He's nowhere near the level. Like he's absolutely nowhere near it. So to answer my own question, I have no idea who I'd pick out of those four. I probably would pick Rashford because he's the best player out of the four, but I think it's just too late. Unfortunately.
I'll change tack then and just go with Rashford, but it needs to move on. All four of them need to move on. If they've requested to leave, there's no point keeping them.
Yeah, no one will take them.
No,
that's the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll all wait until when's the deadline day? It's in the middle of the season. It's a couple of weeks into the season, is it? Sometime in August.
Yeah, end of August, I think.
End of August, yeah. There'll be a bit of a clear out in August, probably all for like 5 million or something, just to get them off the books. But there's not much we can do. Anyway, Tom, it was great to be on the podcast with you again after a bit of a stint away. Not as positive as probably we were hoping for when we were coming off the back of that Europa League final. But we still got time. We might get the Mbwemo deal over the line. We might get a little emergency pod in then if that happens, and we can talk about how the team's going to look with him. If not, then we just hope that they're going to pull something out of the bag when it comes to these signings. And we live in hope. I feel like we're going to be saying that a lot this year.
Yeah, we are. But, let's keep our hopes up and hope that we get a couple more signs over the line before the end of the month. If we can do that, then it puts us in a slightly better shape, but I still wouldn't feel confident going into the season at all. I think we just got to go into it with very low expectations and just hope for the best.
Sounds like a plan. Brilliant. All right, Tom, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.